Uh, the first topic, mini topic in this topic, will be mnemonic devices. Mnemonic devices. Actually, in this word mnemonic, the first M is not pronounced, just like that, mnemonic. Not mnemonic, but mnemonic. Clear? Okay. And the first mnemonic device is using associations to remember facts. I think it's quite useful because to use association effectively, you can create an image in your mind to help you remember a word or an image, another image. For example, if you have a hard time remembering that JFK, John Kennedy, was the president involved in the Bay of Pigs invasion, just picture the handsome president swimming in an ocean surrounded by happy and aching pigs. This is absolutely silly, isn't it? But this concrete image in your mind will forever help you link the president with this event. The more unique or unusual image is, the easier it will be for your brain to remember it. Do you guys have any ideas about using associations? Maybe some of you had a successful practice of using associations for better remembering. Please, Milan, maybe you can share your opinion about this.
Yes, for example, it's very used in mathematics. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
connected, and it's easier way to remember something, to associate something with something easier, to simplify it.
Could you give us an example of yours?
Better no. I mean, it's more professional. I don't use it, for example, in real life. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe Ivan, maybe you will share your opinion about this trouble. Did you use associations for better remembering?
Uh, Most of the time I use it to remember words, but it's kind of more about feelings. I try to
Mm-hmm.
some important word. There's some important word. I try to feel them and remember them by that way. And sometimes I don't really remember directly translations in my own language, but I remember how to use it, how to use that word.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And you exactly connect to your some words, images, events with your feelings, and thus you remember them in better way. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Any other ideas about associations, Teddy?
It will be very simple, when we when we teach children.
Mm-hmm.
So we use a kind of associations too. I mean images. Yes, when you don't write Russian word for them to remember English, for example, but you show the image, the picture of this action or of this subject, of this object. And it helps. So they don't know. They remember not the word, the Russian word, but they remember the picture in their mind. So.
And this association
It's
does
a kind of visualization, something like that.
visualization.
Visualization, yeah.
Visualization, and this is very useful because first of all, it helps for better remembering, and secondly, it helps not to translate English Russian and to remember the words in straight English.
Yes, just
Helps
know the words.
for further English skills. Okay, now there it is, Safian. What's up to you about associations for better remembering?
Yeah, is that mean of an image, thinking an image? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Could
that
you
mean
repeat,
like
please?
that? Is association means thinking of an image to improve
Association
memory?
means when you see some image or hear some word, you try to connect it to some another image for better remembering it, or connecting it this word or event with some feelings. that you will remember, and it's called associations.
Okay, but I'm not so much familiar with this process,
Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Hazim, do you have any ideas about associations? Have you ever used them in your remembering practice?
Actually, the same that Tati has said before.
Hmm.
To picture something, to put things in an image to make your brain remember these things, or to make your student remember things that you give them,
Hmm.
and or you just connect with the word or the things with an event happened with you in the past, maybe, and this will be, uh, let me say, in deep memory. So
Hmm.
it will be stored.
Yeah, exactly.
May I add something?
Yeah, please.
For example, when I work with children, I told about images, and sometimes we play different games. We play different games. For example, when we study colors, so it's the game find the color in the room, and
Hmm.
you ask everybody, and they go and they touch this color they find. So they may
Hmm.
feel, they may see the color, they may feel, and they name it in English. So they
Hmm.
sometimes they even don't realize Russian word for this color. Or if they are little children, maybe sometimes they don't know Russian word about for this color. They just feel and see this. So it's kind of, uh, I think.
Yeah, it can come in very handy because they straightly link the word or the color and so on to the feeling they experience, and this can be very helpful and useful for them because it will be built-in memory because of feelings connection. I think it was a great example. Who's talking?
Baglan, are you talking about us?
Actually, he's just trying to talk.
I think he is not talking about us.
Ah, okay. By the way, hello, Anne. Good evening or good day. I don't know your time. Nice to meet you here. Anne.
She came here before, but she can't speak.
Ah, okay.
She couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now.
Okay. And what you guys think about using associations to remember numbers? Now, let's say you keep forgetting your student ID every time. This for teachers. You need to use it again. Just break down the number into smaller parts and create images associated with those parts, little parts. Let's say the number is 12. I will now type it in the chat box. Just look at this. 12, 75, 75, 23. Yeah. And let's find a way to make these numbers meaningful. Let's say 12 happens to be your house number, 75 happens to be your grandmother's age, and the number 23 is Michael Jordan's number. Here's what you can visualize to remember the number. Do you think it's useful? Whether it's useful?
Yes, I think yes. Because
Yes.
it's meaningful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because you straight link these numbers to some events or ages or some memories that are quite available for you. Yeah, it's connected with feelings also, and then remembering these numbers will come in very handy for you. Mike, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, but usually I remember in now it's consecutive digits. It's 1, 2, and 2, 3. And
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for me to remember in this way. I see what the first digits are
But actually,
consecutive.
but actually, we can imagine that these digits may be 37, and you can connect it to your age, maybe, or 38, 39. I don't know.
Mhm.
Actually, generally about using associations to remember numbers.
Mhm.
Have anything to add? Maybe some examples from your own experience,
Mm.
or to remember facts using association.
Actually, have a bad memory on numbers. It's very difficult for me to remember numbers. But if it's a good technique, just associate of dates or with phone numbers. Yes, it's a good technique. I think.
Mm-hmm. Technique, actually. Technique.
Technique.
Okay. CH, they created the sound K in this word, just like that. Technique.
Okay, thanks.
My pleasure. And the last mnemonic device I would like to introduce you is using chunking. Do you have any ideas? What about it? Chunking. What's it about? We can use chunking for better remember.
I don't know what is it about. To kill, to kick. I don't know.
Yes, Fedor
It's
is
sound.
absolutely
It's
right.
kind of sound, yeah.
No, actually, in this, just in
To
this meaning,
divide, to divide.
yeah,
you mean,
absolutely. Fedor was absolutely right. Making parts of something, dividing something into parts, smaller parts, and we're gonna use chunking for our memory improvement. How can we do this? Chunking is a way of grouping things together. We divide something to smaller parts, and then we group them. And chunking is the way of grouping things together to help you memorize them. Because, you know, a random list of things, a shopping list, for example, can be especially difficult to remember. I'm sorry. To make it easier, try categorizing the individual things from the list. For example, list of all the fruits together, the dairy products together, the bread products together, because alternatively you can chunk your list by the starting letter of each item. You need to pick up eggs, bread, bacon, coffee, and cheese from the grocery store. Remember one E, two B's, and two C's, because C's, coffee and cheese, B's, bread and bacon, and one E, eggs. As long as you remember the correct numbers, you should be able to recall the items in each letter group. This will not only help you memorize the list, but it will make your shopping experience much faster. You know this, because when we don't have any shopping list at all, we're wandering through the mall, through the grocery stores, yeah? Teddy, what's about you? As a woman, as a hostess?
When I go when I go shopping, it doesn't happen so often. But when I read the list of things I need, I imagine the store. And yes, I group them by meat or vegetables and so on, some household stuff. But actually, I imagine the store where I'm going to go, and I know what department will be the first. So I not only group them on groups, not divide them on groups, but also I make a kind of order. So what will be the first, the second, and
You're a quite difficult system.
Because I know how I will, go around this store and what departments will be the first, the second, the third department. So I know them already, and that's why I divide, and not only divide, but also I make a plan of going around. Yeah.
Terminator mode in shopping.
Yes,
like the grocery store, 60% complete. Left X, left.
Yes, something like that, actually.
And then en route and going straight to the eggs. Just like that. And there's a question. Do you make a shopping list before shopping, actually? When you go
You know, it's very
That's a question
difficult
for
for
all of
me.
you.
Okay, let's other people because I have, very strange story about this.
Yeah.
I don't go shopping actually because I used to make list, yes, to make
Mhm.
list of things before going, but I don't drive a car, and it's up to my husband to go shopping. And some years ago, I wrote him. I used to write him all things. Just in this order as I mentioned.
Mhm.
But now he knows better what we need in our house.
Mhm.
Sometimes I don't know.
He's kind
what,
of used to your
yeah.
system, man.
Yes. He knows what amount of products
Foresees
and
your
what
art.
kind of products we need in our house. So
Yeah.
he developed his memory greatly
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
with help of this list of.
Unexpected question further. Are you making a shopping list before you go to the supermarket or mall, grocery store, and so on? Further. Okay. Mike, do you? Do you make shopping list?
Sometimes maybe, but usually, it depends. If we have to buy a lot, it's easier to make a list.
And when you make a list, do you group the products you shall buy in some groups, some parties? Do you group them?
Usually not, because I buy only food products or only something else. It's not many groups. But it depends, no? Because if I see fresh vegetables, fruits, and I don't have them in my list, I rather will buy them. It
Because
depends on the
because there are some kinds of people that actually love to wander through the shopping mall. They go and go, they choose, they do not need actually any shopping list because they gain some pleasure from just wandering.
yeah,
Are
but
you
it's
among
it
them, Mike?
easy. No, it's easy. Yes, it's much easier to have a list.
But actually, as your favorite phrase says, it depends.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
Milan, do you make shopping list before you go to the shopping mall?
Yes, sometimes yes.
Is it helpful for you?
Yes, it's easier. You don't have to think about a lot of stuff, so just write it and follow that order, and that's it.
And do you group your products you should buy?
Not group. It's disaster of list.
And is it quite handy for you to go through these disaster of some products, numbers, departments to go? Is it useful to make such a shopping list?
Yes, why not? It's not it's better to be better sorted, but it helps. It just helps you know you cannot think about some stuff, something, I don't know, maybe for kitchen or some stuff unusual. You have that in list, just how to say, very fast watch on that list, and you will remember your refresh your memory what you need.
Good evening, Snoozy.
Hello.
Nice to meet you here.
Thanks.
We're actually talking about using chunking for better remembering. Chunking is a way of grouping things together to help you memorize them. Do you use chunking actually for better remembering? We're talking about shopping list and how can we group our products we shall buy in some groups to make it easier. For example, fruits together, dairy products together, and so on. What do you think about using chunking this way for better remembering?
About shopping, it's I don't know. It's hard for me to make a list
Hmm.
because
And why so?
when I go to the supermarket, sometimes you find new things and you just buy them without planning that. This why I
Hmm.
don't do any uh, list, and I buy also different things.
And actually, you're among those kind of people that love wandering through the shopping mall, buying something new, something exciting. Yep.
Yeah, I don't like to, for example, to buy the same thing that I bought like last week or
Hmm.
about eating. Also, I like to eat different things every day.
But actually, I'm not talking about shopping list. Generally speaking, what you think about chunking? How can I help for better remembering?
Milan.
Some UFOs are around here.
An airport.
Yeah, subway now, airport, space next time.
I think it's good to group something because it helps to organize
Hmm.
what do you want, or I think it's a very good thing because
And do you use
organization.
chunking in your personal life for grouping something you shall do, you shall go to?
Yeah, but I don't write it. For example, I just remember it and I try to always think about that. Don't forget.
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
about suitcase? When you are going to travel, it's very useful to make this list, and to group things, what you should take with you. I always use this technique.
And actually, it's quite connected with chunking. It's a good example. Since actually do plan what to take with you when you travel somewhere.
No, I just try to remember and don't forget everything. But usually I don't. I always forget something.
If you can
because you
remember,
because you don't write the list. It's because of that.
yes, if
You
you
should
can
write.
remember everything just from the shopping list to the list of clothes you must take with you for the traveling, why are here in this conference nursing memory improvement? I don't know what you're doing here.
No. I'm. I don't know this word, and I don't. Maybe it's a good idea. I am learning. It's a good idea. Maybe I don't know how people remember everything, but now I begin to realize.
Hmm.
Just write it down. Write everything. Maybe it's this is my problem that I don't write anything. I try to remember, and this is why I think that I have a bad memory. But
Hmm.
after listening to you, I think I will do this list. I will change.
Hmm. Hmm. And before we will talk about mindful approaches that can help your memory to improve, let's talk about daily planners. Do you use them to keep in memory what you must do today, what you must do tomorrow, maybe this week? Actually, Mike, do you use daily planners? Do you use planners actually?
Yes, not always, but I tend to
It
make.
depends what you're doing.
No, it's a good practice,
Hmm.
but sometimes I'm lazy. But sometimes I don't have what to write in my daily planning because I have one big thing to do. That's all.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But it's a good practice. It's really
And you
help
do not
to achieve
and you do not
maximum.
chunk your routine into smaller parts. You're quite mm, concerned in doing something big, something one, but something big.
If it is possible, I chunk this, but
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
not always possible.
But generally speaking, it's quite useful to chunk your big
Yes.
job into smaller parts.
Yeah, because you are free. You free your mind because you don't
Hmm.
need to remember everything. Just have a plan, and it helps a lot.
Hmm. Helena, do you have something to add about daily planners, maybe?
Is it related to reminder, for example, when you like write a note or a reminder or your phone when it's late?
Is it useful? What you think, Nancy?
Of course.
Do you use daily planners and reminders?
Yeah, I use it in my phone to remember me sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Alarm, I put some alarm that I have to do something and
Mm-hmm.
remember me. It's I always use that.
As for me, I always use reminders. I can't see anything bad in it because your memory can fail you down sometimes. And to avoid this situation when you will forget by your own fault, I only use reminders, and the reminder system on my iPhone is quite great. I just selected the great sound that reminds me about something important for me. I can't miss it just like that. I'll now show you. Pretty one here, but I can't miss it anyway. I can't miss it. Yes, for me, I use daily planners very often because I think that they're very useful to keep in mind and keep in paper, keep in my iPad what I must do during this week. Actually, I use them this way. I write down what I must do this week, and then I'm checking out my days. For example, today I will do these, and this, and on Wednesday I'll do these, and this, and on Friday I'll do this and the last one, and then in Saturday and Sunday, on Saturday and Sunday, I will first of all plan my next week and do something extra in my planning. And I think it's over useful, and that's great. Thus, Teddy, do you use daily planners?
Yes, I use weekly planners, but actually then I do everything in deadline. But I write everything that I have to do this week. I divide into distribute for days, and but then I do nothing, and I do everything in deadline. All the things.
For these years I've been living in Russia, I understood the one simple thing about Russians, and what I realized that you can choose any time to give a Russian employee or a worker to do something. Anyway, he will do this last day.
Last night, yeah,
Yes,
last night.
last night.
Yes,
Yes, exactly.
I'm a student and I know this.
What does it mean
So,
about?
можно я скажу на русском, что перед экзаменом или
We're
перед
speaking English actually here, Melissa.
подождите, перед экзаменом или вечность, или одна ночь?
You're
Можно
totally
мы...
right, but we're talking English here, Mike. What to do?
May I say something?
Mhm.
I have a notebook to write all that I have to do, but I don't know where I put my notebook. Okay, но между прочим, I have to do, and I advise. Okay, I
Stick to the
advise.
English language, please.
I advise to everyone to learn poems to improve your memory.
Mhm.
But one thing I always remember, it is this is each birthday of my friends and relatives. I remember the date always, and now I am studying Spanish, and I write new words to remember. uh, on the note in the notebook and using sheets and then for I don't know and attach بالكليبلات. Thank you.
Attach.
And by the way, I am studying Spanish, new words. And I know that I must remember each word, and I write for many times this word, and и прикрепляю. Ну, в общем, вот так. И в комнате везде слова.
Yes, I used to do this too.
But when you go shopping, you also you have a plan list, в общем. Ну, как здравствуйте. You can go get.
Please do not jump from English to Russian and otherwise.
Her language is called Runglish, you know. She speaks only it always. Melissa.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So,
now we're talking about mindful approaches.
what?
Mindful approaches.
Can you write?
Yep, actually, I've just done it. Mindful approaches then can improve your memory. First of all, stop thinking that you have a bad memory. Many people think I have bad memory. I just need to write it down because I will forget. Once you stop thinking of this, your memory will be improved by itself. Because just convince yourself that you do have a good memory that will improve. Too many people get stuck here and convince themselves their memory is bad, that they're just not good with names, that numbers just slip out of their minds for some reason. It's about you, Melissa. Just
Ranglish.
Just erase those thoughts and vow to improve your memory. Celebrate even little achievements to keep yourself motivated. Which of you always talk to yourself that your memory is bad? Mike, do you actually say to yourself that your memory is bad?
Could you repeat the question?
Do you say to yourself that your memory is bad? Do you try to convince you that you're bad in remembering names or numbers?
Actually, my memory is good only in remembering numbers and names, but in other stuff it's rather good now. So I think it's just now characteristic or something like that. It's not now you. For some people, it's very easy to remember a lot of things and so on. For other one, it's not so easy. It depends because all of us are different. But I don't think I need to improve my memory to remember, numbers, name.
No, numbers and names, just for generally speaking, actually. We're not connecting them to all the memory job. The second one approach is to exercise your brain. I think all of you will agree with me that exercising our brains is very useful, not only for memory, but for logical thinking and so on. Because regularly exercising the brain keeps it growing and spurs the development of new nerve connections. It's very important. New nerve connection that can help improve memory. By developing new mental skills, especially complex ones, such as learning a new language or learning to play a new musical instrument, and challenging your brain with puzzles and games, you can keep your brain active and improve its physiological functioning. Teddy, what you think about this?
I think it's great.
Do you have
To
do you
know
have any
such techniques.
exercises for your brain?
Yes, for example, again, I will tell about some classes with little children. So, for example, we learn new words, a lot of them, maybe 20, 15 new words. And it's very good, you know, you show these pictures with the words, and then you just mm, so you skip one picture. There is no one picture, and they should remember what picture is absent. So who is better in this stuff? It's also I used to, you know, like Melissa. To my tip was I used to do it. I wrote new words everywhere around me, and wherever I go, I always see something that I have to remember to memorize. I mean, and it's very useful, I guess. Also, I used to make some cards with dates. It's very difficult for me to remember dates, and I had to pass my examination, history examination. Yes, I did these cards and I played with them. So on one side of the card there was a date, and on the other side there was a meaning of this date, the event. And so I used them always, you know, they were always with me. And when I had sometimes I just watched these cards and tried to memorize the date, the event, the date. So
you're actually talking about flashcards. We'll talk about them a bit later. Yes. But anyway, thank you for your examples. Because as a teacher, you can give us many examples of memorizing exercises, for brain exercises. As for me, for y'all, I can advise you a great app for your smartphones. It doesn't depend on your operation system of your smartphones. It's compatible with Android and compatible with iOS. Just will type it down.
And what is it about?
Einstein Brain Teaser. It's called this way, and it has different exercises about four basic skills of our brain.
What is this?
Now, just a second, I will tell you about them. First of all is memory improvement. The second is visualization improvement. The third is logical thinking improvement, and the fourth skill is calculation improvement. This application for your smartphones, Einstein Brain Teaser, will help you to improve 4 basic skills of your brain, and there's plenty of exercises for memory and other skills. That's my advice for you all. Because I use this application every day.
Okay. I know one sentence about our memory that all complain of their memory, but no one complains about your mind.
That's quite right.
Yes, it is right. I think that to improve our memory, we can learn small poems every day. As small children, because I know that poems improve our memory, and also I don't know, we can to play different games to improve our memory. I think that it is very it's possible for everyone to improve his memory, and I think that if you want to remember one thing, you shall remember, and if you not remember another thing, it means that your attention isn't there, and you are not attentive, yes, to remember this one. And I think that we can, by the way, we use our brain uh, mm, not as Einstein, and but I think that our brain is possible for remember everything, every type of information, and what else? And I want to say that if person wants to do one thing to remember or to do anything else, he shall do it if he wants in really he wants, if he really wants. But that I'm sure.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. But I actually thought that I'm starting to think that your monologue is infinite, quite one. And anyway, thank you. And the third one is involving multiple senses. Because involving multiple senses, you can stimulate more parts of your brain by using as many senses as possible when memorizing information. We're actually talking about these, well, we're talking about feelings. We mentioned them, and involving feelings is very useful for memorizing, for better memorizing your information that appears. When a larger part of your brain is active, your ability to trigger your memory banks will increase. And Snoozy, what you think about involving multiple senses for better memorizing?
I didn't understand the involving better senses.
Involving multiple senses, multiple.
You mean different sense for one
Yes,
person?
feelings. Yes, feelings, seeing, hearing, it's like this.
Yes.
Ah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, but I think you just improve, you develop your brain that way, yes?
Yes,
We
and you
were actually
memorize,
talking
sure.
about this, about developing our brain by exercises, but now we're talking about involving multiple senses, just not to only see information, but to hear it, to feel it, to touch it. And I think that using multiple senses will improve your memory skills. And what you think about this, Nessie? Can it help? And if it
Of
can,
course.
I don't know. I don't know how it can help in developing, in improving our memory.
Let's
Maybe.
talk about education again. Don't you think that it's better to see the word, to read it, yes, to see the picture, than to listen to it and to write it down? Because with your hands you remember more. So it helps your brain to remember. There are different people and they have, different memory. Some for some people are just it is better to only to listen, and they remember the information that they listen. But other people they need to see and to to see a kind of tables or schemes, something like that. So graphics. They are better to remember the graphics, not the words, for example. So like images, like pictures. And when you do everything at once, it's much better. So you use all your senses.
Yes, because the bigger part of your brain is active, and thus your ability to trigger your memory banks increases. And thus you better memorize the information, yeah?
Yes, sure.
And as you, Tati, you show pictures to your children and then use word. Or I don't know.
Yes. For little children, I have already taught. I don't show them Russian word always, very often. So I show just picture and I pronounce, or they listen to the pronunciation of the word. So they hear English word and the pictures they see. They find these subjects, these objects that we are talking about. So they touch them. But I am talking about little children, so they don't go to school. Sometimes they don't know Russian even. So that's why it's better. Yeah, so they can't read Russian. So it's better for them. They don't, it's just easier. They don't confuse the languages. They know the English word and they don't translate it. With some when they grow. So I use other techniques, and I show the word and I show the picture, and they listen and they watch movies. So it depends always. I try to use everything.
The most important thing is that we must consider that our brain thinks in images, not in just facts, numbers, and so on. Our brain thinks in the whole image. And when we create the image for our brain, it helps it to better remember what you must remember. And I'm sorry that I haven't mentioned to you when you were talking about snowballs with new words. And what do you mean snowballs? You toss the paper and throw it to each other, yeah?
No. It's a game, snowball. When you for example, you study the topic, you have to learn a lot of new words in one topic. So, for example, traveling. And you have a list of words, many of them, and then you just play with children. So they name these words one by one, and they mustn't repeat the word. As many words that they could remember connecting with traveling, for example. Who will be the last one? This guy wins the game.
And why is it called snowballs?
Snowballs, it's a bit more difficult, so they should repeat the word, another word. So I say traveling. The second should say traveling, a bus, for example. The third should say traveling, a bus, suitcase, for example, and so on. So it's like a snowball.
Just like the snowball collecting more and more snow.
More and more snow.
Yeah, great. I think it will be a great experience because it activates not only memory, but thinking and fantasy. Actually, it's quite useful.
Or maybe she means spring came, the snow has not melted.
Sorry, Melissa?
Maybe she means that spring came, the snow has not melted.
No. No, she meant this. This game, I use it very often during my job, so they should remember all the words all the class pronounced, and repeat them many times.
Tatiana, I want to be your student.
Okay, come to Rostov-na-Don.
Okay. Who else? Hazim is here.
Do you think that flashcards are very useful when you're trying to memorize anything?
Yes, they may be, because I used them. It was very difficult for me to remember.
You've gotten the experience.
Yes, it's
because as for me, I
personal.
think that flashcards are especially useful for studying, as you told us.
Yes.
It's essentially a card with a question on one side and the answer on the other. Yeah, am I right?
Yes, sure.
But actually, you can also put two things you want to associate on the opposite sides of a flashcard. In the course of learning a topic, you would have a stack, a pile of cards, and would go through them, testing yourself. I think it can be.
It's a kind of game.
And yeah, those that you got right, you would put to one side and review a few days later.
Yeah, sure, you're right. It's
We're
very
talking about
helpful.
not a short-term memory, but a long-term memory.
Yes.
Um, Mike,
Oh my God, election tour.
Melissa, do you usually use
What?
flashcards for memorizing?
For what?
Memorizing, just for memorizing, for better memorizing.
Why I must use flashcards? I don't know.
Have
He's
you
asking.
ever used flashcards while learning a topic, preparing for the exam, something like that?
No.
Not only for the exam, it's very useful when you prepare the speech.
Yep.
And you write just some short sentences, only some meaningful for you that you shouldn't so miss during your conversation. And you have these cards, so you tell everything. You just you speak, but you watch these cards not to forget.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I have many cards, but I use my phone to write something that I don't know, and I have one speciality that oh my god, if I'm sorry, if I want to remember one thing, I remember this thing. It's not problem for me, and if really I have attention and I with attention I am if I am listening to my professor, and I can repeat all what she had said, or she or he. And of course I have cards, but I have my phone and I have notebook to write everything, and so and I have I don't know what else I have.
Okay, thank you. Is that all you have to add?
Yes.
Okay, actually, our basic
Почему
conference.
никого нету?
My God. Our basic conference comes to this end, and for the final part of our conference today, some memory tricks that can improve your memory. First of all, say things you want to remember aloud. If you have trouble remembering whether you took your medication every morning, for example, just say, I just took my medication right after you took it to reinforce this idea in your mind. Saying this aloud will help you remember that you did indeed take your medication. Teddy, what you think? Saying things aloud, can it
Yes,
help memorizing better?
sure, it helps. And for children, we always
Yeah.
tell them to read aloud,
Yes.
only
And
aloud.
they read the word or the text or something else out loud,
Yes,
and
yes.
then. Mhm.
And then they can retell this text better than when
Okay.
they read just without voice.
Second memory trick is to deepen your breathing when you have to remember something. When it's time to study or remember something new, switch your breathing pattern to be slower and deeper. Try to breathe slower and deeper and slower breathing actually changes the way your brain works by including the brain's electrical pulses to switch to theta waves, which normally occur in your brain in hypnagogic sleep. Actually, deepening your breathing can improve your memory, but it's quite useful only for short-term memory. You need to remember this paragraph, and then if you read this paragraph, deepening and slowing your breathing, you will you'll be better in recalling this paragraph later.
Maybe, I don't know.
Just try it.
Okay.
Just try it out. The third trick is chewing gum. Chewing gum. Simple gum. This simple act can stimulate the brain and improve your concentration, especially if you need to remember information for 30 minutes or more. But to be honest, I've used this and I've detected my concentration increasing, but only for 20 minutes. It's one very short term effect. 20 minutes. Then I tried to choose some more games, but this effect never happened again. In 20 minutes, only 20 minutes. Very short term effect. And the last trick, I don't think that it's the last trick, but the last of my list that I've prepared for today's conference is moving your eyes from side to side. Studies show, specialists say, that moving your eyes from side to side for just 30 seconds once a day will align the two parts of your brain and make your memory work more smoothly. Try this trick when you wake up in the morning, and your memory work better, will be working better the whole day.
It's very interesting.
Yes, can come in handy, quite handy sometimes. And guys, do you have anything to add to
Yes, what about to put your book under the pillow while sleeping?
I
It's,
think that's quite a superstition.
useful. But it's a psychological, it has a psychological effect, when you think that it will help, so it helps, it will help.
I don't think that it's psychological effect. I think that's quite a superstitious effect. I think that psychological effects, they straightly concern your brain skills, your psychology, and putting your book under your pillow is I don't know.
But everybody use this, especially children.
When I was learning something,
At least to put your book under the pillow, so it raises the chance that you will open it before you put it under the pillow and go to sleep. Maybe you will open and read something before going to sleep.
This oh my god, this has you.
I can bear this Russian English.
Jenny, we didn't talk about association also. When you associate something, it's easy to remember.
Yes. We talked about it. It was the first tip. How to better remember.
I was here. I wasn't.
But what kind of associations do you use, Sinosi?
Associations, to be very correct.
Oh my god, it's so difficult to pronounce.
Is it? Association.
Even in Russian.
Just try this out loud. Association.
Yes.
One by one, please. In the line.
Старший вперед.
Not like Russians.
Associations.
No, not association.
No.
It's like that.
Associations. Yeah. Okay.
Association. Just one more time.
Associations.
Okay. By the way, Mike, you can toggle off the recording because our conversation is out. We have talked about everything. It's concerned to memory tricks, memory improvement tips. And thus, I don't think there can be a conclusion because, as you say, it depends. And I think that everyone here has made their own conclusions. And thus, thank you all for today's conference.
Thank you, Damon. But I think maybe everyone will share his experience, how they remember, for example, new words in English, just to relate to our topic. It will be interesting.
Who will share his many? Who, actually?
it will be useful if everyone will share his
Ah,
experience, how they memorize new words in English.
okay, for the final part, let's do this, Mike. Let's start from you.
Yes, I always try to memorize in context, and when I find a new word, I try to write all the sentence, and after that I search this word in the dictionary and also write other examples from there, just to remember in context. And I think it's much easier to remember in this way, not just remember the word.
Yes, and remembering the word from the context is quite connected with associations, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Further, how do you memorize information about your personal
I'm
techniques?
I just try to desperately remember them. It's always about context, repetition, and some emotion. I try to involve as much emotions as I can. Yeah, all about fear or shame. The shame works good.
Yes,
and I
shame
try
always
to.
works good. You will remember it for the whole life.
You will never forget. That's right. That's how I try to remember new things.
Okay, thank you, Teddy.
Oh, I have shared a lot of things today, I guess.
Actually, you're right.
But in context, it's yes, it's good, and I always try to write down these words.
Writing down and okay.
And search for all to know the meaning of the words, can describe it in other words, and know a lot of synonyms as much as possible.
Okay, Katerina, maybe you will share your opinion about how you memorize information.
I guess Katerina cannot talk.
I think so. Rafael Rodriguez. Would you share your opinion about how you memorize information about your personal techniques? No, I guess. Okay, Melissa.
Yes.
Please share your own experience about your own personal techniques in memorizing information.
I use association. Yes. Synonyms.
Synonyms, actually.
Synonyms.
Flashcards, as you told us. Yep. Stickers when you're writing down your words.
Synonyms, and I also advise to everyone to watch films in the original language with Russian subtitles. Yes.
Subtitles.
Yep. Subtitles.
I have also another idea. Can I say it?
Yeah, please, no. I think Melissa's it's finished actually.
I think we have to be also more human because we use technology a lot. We use our computers, we use our phones, for example, to before when I didn't have like a mobile phone, like maybe more than 10 years ago. I remembered some. I always remember the phone numbers. I knew the phone number of my grandmother or phone number of our house. I knew a lot of numbers, and now I don't know any numbers. And I think sometimes it's okay. Yeah, it's good if we have application and we use them and etc. But otherwise, we are not improving our memory that way. We are counting on this stuff like electronic devices on, I don't know, email or something like that. And we are not counting on our brain. So we have to be more human to improve our memory.
Hmm. Yes, you're absolutely right because I think that the only thing we must count on is our personal brain, personal skills, because our gadgets can fail us down in any moment. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, and yes, of course, these gadgets are very useful. As for me, I can't imagine my life without my iPad because there is so much information in there. And but nevertheless, I'm trying to improve my all my skills, and because I think that personal improvement, personal development is the best way to achieve success. Just good phrase, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, Mike, I think enough opinion has been shared.
Yeah, maybe Yasmin just will share her
Yasmin?
opinion. Hello, Yasmin.
Oh, Yasmin,
Hello.
I didn't notice you. Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
yes. Nice to meet you again, Danny.
Yeah, thank you. You've just connected to us. I couldn't see you before this
Yeah,
conversation today.
I've just come, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to learn few techniques in order to develop my memory because I have got issues with my memory. So I have got nothing, no advice about it because I don't remember anything most of the time. That is the thing I cannot easily deal with. That's why I wish to listen more this time.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any ideas? Do you have your personal techniques to develop your memory skills? Will you try anything to improve your memory, to develop it? Nevertheless, you don't count on it.
Another good thing also is,
Excellent.
I
Yeah.
don't know, and I am sorry if I didn't hear you that you or all already talked about that about repetition. I don't know if you mentioned that or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good to remember things when you repeat them. Like,
Repetition is quite good, but cramming for the exam last night before it, it's quite useless.
of course, not before the exam. You have to repeat a lot. I don't know, warm
Mhm.
up.
But actually, your repetition of the information must be also smart, because if you give yourself a rehearsal of some information this minute, then 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, I think it's quite useless because you simply don't need to cram it down every minute. Smart rehearsals, smart repetitions, they consider uh, the repetition this moment, then 20 minutes later, then 2 hours later, and then before your sleep. It's called smart repetition in memorizing information, and it's quite useful. Yasmin, are you here? You've been disconnected. Some coast. Yasmin,
Yes.
you've been
Can you hear me,
disconnected.
guys?
Yep, yep, yes, I can. Can you hear me, Yasmin?
Hello.
Hello.
I guess maybe she can't hear us.
Yeah,
Yasmin.
she
Can't hear
can
you guys.
speak.
I'm so sorry. Let me back on my laptop. Maybe I will hear you that time.
Mhm.
Okay, see you later. Okay, I think it was a lot said already.
Yes,
Yes,
just enough. I think it was very interesting
yes,
conversation today, isn't it?
very useful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for everyone, for me actually. And thank you all for this.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Danny.
opinions. And Mike, you can